Good day, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Inspired with Christopher Williams. I am your host, Christopher Williams, navigator and motivator on your path to accomplishing your goals and achieving your dreams. As always, thank you to everybody who tuned into the show. The feedback that we're getting is really, really great to hear, great to see. Special thanks as well goes out to my new friends on Instagram. Starting to connect with a lot of you other entrepreneurs and a lot of you other people who are inspiring to open your own business or aspiring just to do great things. Even if you're not an entrepreneur, the fact that you want to do something great puts you in a different level of things as far as where you're going and what you want to achieve. So special hello and thank you guys for the support, a lot of the comments, and just a lot of the love that you're showing, and I'm showing it right back to you. So just know that I'm watching and I'm always available to you guys as well. New email address, Christopher@onewilliamsenterprises.com is where you can find me. Any questions, concerns you may have, or even if you want me to come out and visit you or your party or your other team, I love to do those kind of things as well. Facebook.com/Williams Inc. and onewilliamsenterprises.com is the website where you can always find the latest information on what I'm doing and what's to come. So keep the comments coming, keep the love coming, and I'll show it right back to you, because just as much as you get from me, remember, I get from you guys. Today we're going to talk about a topic basically called coaching. That's really what I spend a lot of time doing now, and that's what I spend a lot of time talking to a lot of people about. And one thing about coaching is that you always have a main goal in mind, and that main goal is getting to the solutions. Okay. Now, most of the time when I talk to people about coaching, it's always something where people always want to kind of tie a dollar amount to getting something from me or from any other coach they've experienced as a way to saying that they feel like they've spent their money well. But the interesting thing about coaching is that I don't really have any answers for you. It's unique. I don't give you answers. I show you how to find the answers yourself. So, being that that's how, at least I do my coaching, it's always kind of abstract, because a lot of times people think, you have some kind of magic ball that you go into and tell them one answer that's going to solve all their problems. And that's not necessarily how it works. But what I do try to, at least tell my customers and a lot of the other entrepreneurs I work with is that I can show you exactly how to achieve those goals. And the main thing that we do when we get together, in addition to spending quality time and having a good time, is that we're going to learn a lot of strategies and a lot of things that you can take with you and a lot of things that you can apply to other aspects of your daily life. Whether you have a business or not, the information is very key, and you can use it whether it's personal relationships or business relationships or what have you. Always something that you can take with you and that you can share with your friends. Now, what we're going to get into today is more so about coaching in the moment. There's a couple of different types of coaching strategies. A lot of coaching typically deals long term, a lot of strategies that you can use over a span of time. But this type of coaching involves coaching when you have those moments of opportunity. Sometimes you could have instances where you can have people that arrange things or arrange time to spend with you, and they actually have that moment set to where they actually designate time to come spend with you to get coaching. However, sometimes you just have friends or you have confidants or you have colleagues that all of a sudden start to just open up to you on the fly. And those are just as important, because they're not necessarily expecting anything, but you have an opportunity to make something really special. You have an opportunity to leave them with something that's going to truly change their situation or even change their life. You truly just never know. Now, with this kind of coaching is kind of different as well, because you have to kind of take a different strategy with it. One thing that you learn is a lot of the different issues that you come across, especially when people are starting to open up to you. But if you're going to take an opportunity to coach or to provide some type of counsel, you have to remember a few things, okay? The main thing you have to remember is that you want to set a level playing field with either your friend or your confidant or your colleague. you want to make sure that at that time your goals are lining up with their goals, right? Sometimes their goals are to just vent. Sometimes people just need some people say it's a shoulder to cry on, but sometimes people just need somebody to listen. And if that's the idea that they're looking for, you have to make sure that that's your target in that moment of opportunity or that interaction. You want to make sure that you let them know that that's a safe environment for them. You typically use that a lot more when that coaching opportunity is planned. But sometimes, depending on what the nature of the conversation may be, it may be a good idea to just kind of take a moment and just let them know, hey, what we're talking about, I'm going to give you full confidence that it's only going to stay between us. Or this is only going to stay here, or that I'm here to listen. And if you would like, I'll give you feedback. Depending on, what you feel their objective is in that time. Now, in those moments where those opportunities are planned, like I said, sometimes you don't have a lot of time. You may only have 20 minutes. Sometimes your customers may only have a few minutes, or your friend may only have a few minutes of time. So you want to make sure that you can identify when to jump in and when to start the actual coaching moment. You're going to hear a lot of things that are going to be triggers for you. I typically call some points, how to dig, okay? Now, some of the things you're going to hear a lot of excuses sometimes. This is why I can't do this, or this is why I can't do that. A lot of times people start off their issues with these things kind of as disclaimers, right? So when you start hearing these things, these are kind of your triggers to say, okay, this is this is the start of this opportunity, so this is what we need to start with. Now, when you recognize that the coaching moment has started, what you want to keep in mind is that you want to do the best that you can to avoid throwing answers at them. Okay? And there's a reason for that. And that reason is this, is that most problems are more than what you see on the surface, or more than what your customer may think is the problem. So you have to use that term I used a little earlier called digging. Okay? Now, you don't dig by poking at it. Okay? Coaching itself has a strategy. And this strategy sometimes takes a little while to perfect, so don't get frustrated if you forget a few things or you don't get it right away. I've been doing this for a little while, so I kind of have a little bit more experience. And you will too the more you practice. But when you start to dig, make sure that when you start investigating that you ask very meaningful questions, okay? Most of your coaching is going to be pulling information from the person instead of giving them information. And when you pull that information, you're going to do it in such a way that you're really not going to ask a whole lot, but the questions that you do ask are going to have such purpose that that person is going to start to really see their answers in their own answers that they're giving you. So when you're asking your questions, make sure you ask questions that are meaningful. Make sure you ask questions that are going to start to uncover the true issue. Okay? Most of the time when people really start getting to their issues, they start really kind of scapegoating what's going on. So they'll start to give you things on the surface to see how you react a little bit. You have to remember, people have a weird way of communicating. They typically will tell very few people what's really going on. So what you have to remember as well is that sometimes the real problem isn't really the problem at all, which is why you have to continue to just sit there and be patient. Listening is one of the most important things you can do in this time, because as you listen, you'll start to hear those moments that you can capitalize on, and that's going to bring more benefit to your customer, or to whether it's your friend or your family member, anybody who you're going to try to take this approach with. As I said earlier, it takes a little time to perfect, but as always, I'm here for you. Just let me know if you have any questions, okay? Facebook.com/Williams Inc. Christopher at OneWilliamsEnterprises.com and OneWilliamsEnterprises.com, as I'm always available for you. Now, another thing that you're going to see in these moments is you're going to see something that I like to call walls, okay? Now, these walls are very important because these are typically what separates you and your customer from their goals, okay? Some things you may come up across is something I like to call the do better blues. And that basically sounds like this: if I had blank, then I could do blank. You can fill in the blank with pretty much anything you want, but most people fill in the blank with time, money, more friends, people. Really depends on how deep you're getting with this person, okay? Most people, when they really see that you have a genuine concern and you have a genuine um, desire to help them, they'll start to really kind of peel off those layers themselves. But the Do Better Blues is really one of the tougher things to kind of watch out for, because when you start tapping into that, it's kind of like mortar when you're building a brick wall, right? The more mortar that they have, which is excuses, like I said, the Do Better Blues, and also anything else that they feel is why they're not doing what they want to do, the more they can add to it. Now, the main thing that people add to their wall is fear. And they don't even realize they're doing it. It's just, it sneaks up on them. So you start talking about, well, well, what's the real thing you're trying to get to? And they'll just start throwing things at you. Well, that time is gone. I don't have that, I'm not that young anymore. Or I'm not that this, or I'm not that. These are all just things of fear. Now, the irony behind these fears is that sometimes they're actually fears that they can do what they want to do. It's not always a fear that they can't do what they want to do. Some people don't know how to handle the what next part of their goals, right? Because they haven't thought them that far in advance yet. So that's something that you really want to remember, because once they realize that there's really not a lot getting in their way, then they're going to want to know what they need to do next. Now, as I said earlier, it's not necessarily always about telling them what to do. It's more so about asking those questions that help lead them to their own answers. So as you're going through your coaching, and remember, we're talking like this is a long process, but this really could only take you maybe 5 or 10 minutes. It's just about your approach. Sometimes you can sit there and listen, and you can already hear what the answer may be to their problem, but they don't get it yet. So it's important that you continue to listen, and that you don't try to interject or talk over them, but you let them get it out, and then you take those moments of opportunity to interject yourself or what you've observed. And it's important to let them know that it's what you observed and not what you feel they should do. Okay? Sometimes it's very beneficial, or it may be even more important for you to just say, okay, what I'm hearing from you is this. Or what I'm hearing you say is this. And confirm that with them. Give them a chance to really give clarity to what you're hearing. Because I could say something and I could interpret it very differently from what somebody else says. Trust me, I've had those situations happen, and it's not necessarily fun when you assume. And everybody knows what happens when you assume, right? Not going to get into that. But it's important for them to really know that that time is all about them, right? You're just there to help. Remember communication? And what did we say about communication? It's always about the other person. So you want to make sure that your audience, whether that's a close friend or a colleague or a potential business associate, knows that that time is truly about getting them to that next level and making sure that they know that you're there for them.
10 years to learn the business. 10 years to make a name. 1 year on your own. It takes time to build a small business, but only 60 days to transform it with email marketing from Constant Contact. Sign up with Constant Contact and get 60 days of free email marketing to generate referrals, connect with clients, and build the business you've always wanted. Constant Contact. Start your 60-day free trial today.
We want to take some time, just a little bit of time, to thank our sponsors who help make this show possible. A lot of times the information that we give you guys is so important, and we couldn't imagine not being able to bring it to you. And these sponsors that we have, they help make that possible. So thank you very much to our sponsors, as many as we have, and also anybody that may eventually sponsor the show. We really appreciate what you bring to us and the value that you bring to allow us to do what we need to do. So thank you very much. Today's point of power comes from a topic that I like to call family. Now, the idea of family is that sometimes, you have your family that you choose and you have your family that you don't choose. Today we're going to talk about the family that you choose. And the idea is that you want to make sure that the people that are the closest to you are the strongest. Now, here's why this is possible. You're going to have times where you feel like you're on top of the world. And you're going to have time that you feel like you're at the very bottom as well. Okay? So the thing is this, is that you want to make sure those people that are around you are strong enough to carry you when you're weak, but at the same time, they're strong enough to walk right next to you when you feel like you're on top of the world. Now, sometimes you go through things that really shake you. You know, they may throw you off a little bit. You may not see things as clearly. The people that are around you should be able to pick you up, and they should be able to get you back on track. Now, that doesn't mean that they're going to take on your vision for you. That's not what they're there for. But they care enough about you, and they care enough about your goals, about your ambitions, and your desire to achieve things, that they can step right there and sometimes may smack you around a little bit to get you back on track, but also make sure that you maintain your focus and your balance. Now, also remember that you're going to have to be that person for them as well. So if you're in somebody's inner circle, they may feel like you're strong as well. So it all kind of works on each other. But make sure that these people around you are like-minded and that they can share a vision with you that can enable all of you guys to benefit from your vision, their vision, and anything else that comes, to you guys as for an opportunity. The saying goes, iron sharpens iron. If you're not bringing anything to the table, you're not sharpening them like they need. So it's important that the things that you learn, the things that you go through, you see the positive in them so that you can present that to your closest friends or your closest partners, just in case they need to be picked up sometimes as well. We all need somebody sometimes. Okay? So let's make sure that the people that are around you are the people that are going to be right next to you, whether you're up or whether you're down. We had a great time today on today's show. We always have a good time. What am I talking about? But we were able to learn a lot. We're able to take a lot with us, and we're able to apply a lot of things in our daily life and also in our business endeavors. So always feel free to reach out to me. I'm always available to you. Christopher at onewilliamsenterprises.com, facebook.com/Williams Inc., and onewilliamsenterprises.com. Also, if you're kind of behind on a show or two, what you waiting for? Check us out on YouTube as well as BizLinks TV, where you can always find the previous episodes and you can find us the next time we are coming to you. But until then, hey, stay inspired.